Now we're going to look specifically at the string class. The string class is one of the most useful classes that you can use. It's part of the Java Lang package, just like the math class, so you don't have to import it. So Java 8 API string. There it is, java.lang. The string class has a lot of different methods that you can use. And we're just going to play with a bunch of them. You, in your life, may need to come read the documentation. It's very useful to be able to read the official documentation of a language. It can be very tricky, very difficult to figure out, to get used to the language that is used with the APIs. But you get used to it and you're able to read it better each time. So string methods example. And so public static void main string args. All right, so let's go ahead and create a string. String str equals hello mother. If I print it out, system out print line, it will show up correctly. So let's save it. Let's run it. Hello, mother. All right, that's pretty good. There's a couple of other things you can do, like for example, really easy ones is to upper, and that will capitalize everything, which is very useful. I guess I didn't spell it right. So let's do uppercase, uppercase, and then to uppercase, and converts. I can get rid of this. There you go. Converts all the characters in the string to uppercase. All right, to uppercase. I forgot type case. So case. There we go. Hello, mother. Now that's just an example of if you don't have a book, how the original documentation is very useful. But another thing that makes the original documentation even more useful than a book is that it has all of the documentation. Books have to pick and choose about what they explain, but the documentation explains everything. That's why it's the documentation. So there's a couple of things we want to look at specifically. Uppercase, lowercase, those are very common. Another common one is the length. So I'm going to have that. We're going to print out the length of the string, and we'll print that out. And the length is 14. So one thing to understand with arrays in Java is they start with index of 0. And a string is nothing more than an array or a list of characters. So it's 0 is at index, h is at index 0, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. With that makes it a length of 14. Well, why do we care about the arrays? Well, simply put, it is useful when we're trying to get certain characters. Let's get, for example, the first character in here, and we're going to say char at 0. Char at 0 will return an h. If we put in char at, I didn't spell it right, print line. There we go. If we then got our h, if I put in a 1, then it would return an e. If I wanted to return the fifth element, I would actually put in a 4 because 0 is the first one. So let's go ahead and print that out. So 4 gets an O. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or first, second, third, fourth, fifth. So the fifth character is at index 4 because the index starts with 0. A really lame joke is how many arms does an octopus have? An octopus has 8 arms, arms 0 through 7. So that's how we count in Java. So uppercase, lowercase, there's length that returns the actual length. Char at, starting with index 0. will give us which character we want. Let's do a whole system out print line so I don't misspell it. There we go. Let's look at substring. Substring is a very, very powerful, very useful method. So if I do a substring at maybe this break right here, this space, so I do, that's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So if I do a substring at 6, what do I get? I get starting here all the way through mother. So if I want to put the 7, all I will have is mother exclamation mark. There we go. There's mother. Well, there's two types of substrings. There's the one where two types or two versions where you just put a single number in and it gets the rest of it. So let's go ahead and go to the official documentation here. And we'll type substring. Where is our substring? Almost there. There it is. There's two types right here. This returns a string that is a substring of the string, and this returns a string that is a substring of the string. Well, we'll have to click on it. This first one, where you just put a beginning index, returns a string that is a substring of the string. The substring begins with the character at the specified index and extends to the end. So unhappy, where we start at 2, returns happy. Oh, okay. And then, I don't even know how to pronounce that. Substring.3 returns bison. Emptiness with 9, notice that it's beyond there, returns an empty string. Oh, okay. Well, that's the one we just did. We put in a 7, and it got mother, exclamation mark. But the next one, where you have a begin and end, so you tell it where it began and where to end. So hamburger 4.8 returns urge. So let's see here. How do we get just hello? Put in 0. And then let's go back to the documentation, the end index. The ending index exclusive. So that's at 8. So 0, 1, 2, 3, aha, 4. We're going to start with 4, and that was urge. That's the beginning of an urge. 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, if we want urge, that's the entire thing we want. So we have to do one more till at 8 to not have the R. So we want H, not the comma. Okay. So we want 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the whole thing we want. So we want to stop at 5. 5. Cool. So we're going to compile it and run it. You know, we got hello. And last one that I'm going to cover is a very useful one. It's for finding things. Like, let's specifically find out where the comma is. So I'm going to say int index equals str.index of, and comma. That's what I was trying to remember. I forgot what I was looking for. So I want to look for the comma. Okay, so let's print out what it returns. System out print line. The index is, concatenate it with the number index, and see what comes out at the end. Compile that. Excellent. Run that. The index is 5. Oh, okay, well we counted that before. We knew that it was 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this substring, but instead of putting 5, I'm going to programmatically put in index. So as an example of what you could do is if you had a string that you didn't know exactly where the comma was, you could put 0 and then the index of the comma, and it would get that first substring. So this should print out hello. And it did. Very nice. So what do we cover? There's a lot of methods in the string class. The ones we went over is there's 2 uppercase, which makes everything uppercase. There's also 2 lowercase, which just makes everything lowercase. There's to get the length of it, to get a particular character in the array, to get a substring from the beginning to beginning index to the end, the substring from the beginning index and stop at an ending index. And then there's index of, which helps find a particular character or set of characters in your string.